Okay, so we've done enough with the outside for now, and I'll start looking at things you can use for the interior. So I have a floor plan there where I've made a perspective view, and I'll start putting maybe some chairs in there just to get an idea how the space will fill out. And so we've got some nicely provided sites here which have 3D versions of their furniture, but in AutoCAD 3D format. So this null one, you're saying they're all Revit already, so maybe we'll have a look at that if we get time, but probably don't need to. But Artec, I think that was the one that was AutoCAD 3D, and now I thought I had a... Oh no, that was the null sofa item. So maybe I want to get a sofa, so let's see if I can find one here. So this is Fritz Hansen, and let's see if we've got any lounge chairs there. There we go. Yep. So, oh look, I had a sofa just like that, and we thought it was great when we bought it, and it was rubbish. In the end, they don't not that functional, and they don't have the depth that you need to be durable either. So if you're looking to buy them, King or something, just are better. A lot of these, well, the real designer things, they look nice in a showroom, but no, that's it. Yeah. So anyhow, it should look good in this space. So here we've got all these different formats, and you can see there's no Revit format there. We've got DWG files, and I'll try that. And it looks like they want us to sign up, but we don't have to download it. I can just download the zip file there, so I'll just save as, and I'll put it into P drive, so we can all get to it. And I'll put it into here, 3D models, because that's just a generic folder for... Yep. Yep. Okay, so it was, great name, 3ddwg.zip.
Yeah, they don't name
No, so I'm going to try changing that straight away to 3D Swan Sofa. And hopefully it won't mess up the zip file. So I'm going to right click, go to the WinZip extension, and then extract to that folder. And that's worked pretty well. And here we are. So we've got 2 drawing files. Great. Okay, let's have a look at that. So you can try just bringing that straight into Revit. Yeah.
So you just open, whatever you
Probably. But I'm going to have a look in AutoCAD. Because we've got AutoCAD, may as well have a look at it and see what's there. And then you sometimes need to make changes as well. And so you can do all of that in AutoCAD, because once you bring it into Revit, it's very difficult to make changes other than changing materials and those kinds of things. So, sorry, I should have opened AutoCAD before, but what I'll do while that's opening is just start off the process in Revit that I'll need to do anyway. So I'm going to bring it into a family file before bringing it into this project file. So I'm going to go to the main menu, just like I did with the window, click on the sub-menu there, New, Family. And I won't save this right away. And I'm going to then use metric furniture, which is a good template to use in this case, but just watch out for that one. People use it a bit too much, I think. And the problem... Yeah. And it is good for furniture, but if you want something to show cut in a section, then use casework instead. But sofa or chair families, you wouldn't usually want them to show cut in your section, even if your section line's going right through them. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I'm going to click open, and I'll have then a blank family ready to bring the AutoCAD file in. Still loading. Yeah. So, people are using AutoCAD in here. You would have had John just today using it. So, okay, so it's not the first time. Should be nearly done. What else can I do? Nothing in here. Well, actually, I'll save it. So while I'm at it, I'll save that file as a family, and I'll save it into the Revit library folder on the P drive in furniture, and I suppose I'll put it into one of these folders. So we have a chairs folder there. I don't think we have chairs and sofas, so that will... Oh, beds, chairs and sofas. Chairs. No, I'll put into chairs. And so we're going to call it sofa swan. Should do. Oh yeah, it's up here. You can go to view and then thumbnails, and then you can change the size if you right click and then go to view large icons, or extra large if you really want to. Large probably is good here. Now, which brand was this? It was Fritz Hansen, so I'll do that, even though they probably get it from another manufacturer, but let's say Fritz Hansen Swan. And with any luck, AutoCAD's still going. It's getting worse. I mean, AutoCAD hasn't really, I don't think it's changed in a meaningful way for 15 years. And if they just left it the way it was, then it would have opened, in 5 seconds. And all this new stuff really isn't necessary. But that's why it takes so long to load. I mean, if you want to do crazy 3D models like this, then you can. But oh yeah, no, but the format hasn't changed. Yeah. Yeah, now look, a lot of the new features are to do with constraints and all of these things that you don't really need. Associative dimensioning. You don't really have to, but if you've got it, then it doesn't hurt. It's got a couple of. It's actually they're going the way of disabling a lot of those new features, which is good. Well, yeah, and it causes less problems when you're working because constraints are something that just got in the way for most people. So they've disabled a lot of that happening automatically, and they've cleaned up the interface a little bit. Lots of little fixes like that, so it is a bit better. But yeah, look, I do a lot of training for AutoCAD still, and I struggle when I've got to show new features for those versions because really there's not much that's. And I mean, for new users, there's nothing really that you need to worry about. Oh god, it's loading very slowly though. It's a shame, and don't want to sit around all day waiting for this. So what I might do is show you how to bring it straight into Revit. Even though I really did want to have a look at it in AutoCAD, it's just I think it's actually got to be restarted. So I'll just crash out and start it again. It should start a lot faster than that, and probably will start in. Here we go. There we go. I bet it's going to start almost immediately now. There we are. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so now Fritz Hansen, are they international?
Yeah.
So they're probably based in America, or they're probably catering to the American market. Possibly, yeah. So I'm going to try opening it, but then we might try inserting it into another file if it isn't set up well.
So is it like easier to be checking everything or
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, yeah. So I'll start with the, let's start with the fabric one. Because I bought the leather one of this and that was rubbish. It just didn't work as leather. It just was, yeah, a shame. Lasted about 2 years. Yeah, maybe two and a half. No, it was out of warranty by then, and so put it on the street, literally, and yeah, went in the.
Actually, because it's
No, but it was almost identical to this. It was a bit nicer actually. It had a bit more of a curve around the back, and yeah, so never doing that again. Yeah, I think it was the way it was upholstered, and they just hadn't thought it through. You know, a lot of designers. I used to work in a furniture making workshop, and a lot of the designers come up with great ideas, but don't have a huge amount of experience sometimes with the furniture in a long-term situation. No, that's right, exactly. Yeah, it's got to be basically glued to the foam, and even then, the upholsterers have a job on their hands. Oh yeah, so what I'm going to do here is just change the workspace to 3D. I'll just do 3D basics just to make it a bit easier to navigate, and then you can go and see a shaded view or realistic, just to see in 3D how it's all going to work. Looks like it's set up pretty well. So I'm going to look at the layers. That's really the most important thing, and you can see, yeah, it's not set up properly. So it may give you the option of having materials come into Revit, but you won't be able to adjust them after that. So you do need to fix it. So I'll do that in a moment. But before I think about the materials, I want to check the size as well. Yeah, I'm recording it. Oh, because there's no layers. So we've got one layer A shade, which is a system layer, so it's not doing anything.
What would you be seeing if it was
Oh, a layer for each material.
okay.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're going to set the materials up, so we'll set the layers up to make the materials adjustable. And then I want to measure, so I'm going to just type DI and then enter, and that's the shortcut for distance. And I can just measure between the two legs there, and I'll be able to tell straight away. It's set up 4 inches. So 91 inches. Well, let's just do a quick calculation. CAL, enter, is the AutoCAD calculator. 91 times 25.4. So it's 25.4 millimetres to an inch. Enter, 2311. That seems like the size it should be to me. So I'd say that is almost definitely in inches. Another way you can tell is if you type units, enter, and okay, it could be centimetres. Oh God, yeah, don't care about lights. Okay, so what was the measurement again? 91. No, that can't be right, because that would be 910 millimetres between the legs, so just under a metre, which doesn't seem right to me. So I'd say it is inches, even though the person who's set it up has then gone and set it up to import in centimetres. And that's one of the common misunderstandings with AutoCAD. AutoCAD actually doesn't, unless you get into these kind of secret settings that Architectural Desktop uses more than AutoCAD, there's no real units setting. Units are what you decide they are. So there's a unit in your AutoCAD file, and you need to decide whether that represents an inch or a centimetre or a millimetre. And that's what it is.
So rather than restating the file,
Yeah.
like say you're in InDesign, you can just override the unit that they've set and measure it.
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah. So you can say, I want to be working in millimetres,
Yeah.
not inches, but that means we need to change the size of this. So there are a couple of ways of doing that. So here, this insertion scale, that means anything I insert into this file will get scaled according to these units.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
And this has been completely
Yeah.
random. Could you just set up the way that you did the supplementary without changing the units and making it right?
You could, and then you can set. Then you have to set the units when you import it into Revit.
Yeah, so could you kind of just,
Yeah.
the scale and just
Yeah, you can. So as long as you know that this is in inches, then when you bring it into Revit, there's an option to scale it there as well. Yep. So there's a couple of ways. So, actually, that's probably what I'll do. You could go and make a new file in AutoCAD, and then using that units dialog box, make sure that's set to inches in the new file. Not this file; it doesn't matter. And then when you insert this file into that one, it'll scale it from inches to millimetres. So that's the way, if you've got to use it in AutoCAD at the right size. But like you were saying, we'll do it in Revit, and that saves a step. Right, so this is a polyface mesh. Okay, so I think they bought it from 3ds Max, the person who made this, because, well, it's no coincidence, they've got the Max format there as an option, so I'd say that's what they've done. Now I'm going to try exploding it, just by typing X, the shortcut for explode. Yeah, and that's a shame. The way they've done it is they've made all of it one object, and when we explode it, it's going to break it up into separate faces. Yeah. So we don't have much choice though, that's the way they've made it. And it's not that bad because most of the leg should be fairly easy to extract. It's just this part here that's a bit of work. Yeah, they really didn't make it easy for you, but that's life. So I'll show you what to do. So I'm going to go explode, so just click and then X, and then bring up the layers panel, layer properties, and so I'll make a new layer for let's call it sofa legs, and then sofa seat. Just this button up here. Enter. Once you've clicked on that, Alt N is the shortcut, but then Enter after that will keep making new layers. Yeah. So here I'm just going to make these. Oh, see, they've used True Colour. Never use True Colour in AutoCAD unless you have to, because it's just pointless. So I'm just going to make these different colours so I can see, and then I'm going to try getting most of the legs, just doing a crossing window, left to right. Going to my layers panel, I'm going to change the layer there to sofa legs, but notice then it's not changing colour. So I'm going to right click and then go to properties, and you can see there the colour is set to, so it's not by layer. So I'm going to change that there to by layer, and now they'll have the colour of the layer that they're on. Now, it's actually done, it's pretty good. Okay, it's selected all of the leg actually, so those at least are joined objects. So that's a nice, easy step actually. And now to make it even easier, I'm going to go now to the layers panel again and turn that legs layer off, and then I can see that I've just got the seat there, and even though they're all separate faces, I can just make a window around all of them. Yep. Yep, with any luck, yep. Oh yeah, now the colour hasn't changed, so it's good just to check that the colour's changing. So here you can see they've set the colour directly, so up to by layer. And they should all change now. There we go. That's pretty good. The modelling's not bad, and nothing wrong with using Max to get your files into AutoCAD, but there's a few tricks getting things out of Max into AutoCAD. And that's right. That's it. Yep, I want these layers yet to come up in Revit. So I'm just going to save as drawing, and just in case for some reason we want to go back to the original one, fabric 1, that'll do. So now in Revit, we go insert, import CAD, find that file, there it is, and there make sure it's on inches for import units instead of trying to let it detect them. Oh yeah, import CAD on the insert tab and then import CAD. You can get it open. So I'm leaving all the options other than import units on the defaults. Really important that current view only is turned off. It wouldn't be the right size. Probably, yeah. I mean, it would auto-detect, and I'd say there's a good chance that it would detect centimetres or something like that. But it's there is actually a unit setting, but it's a system setting that you can't get to with the vanilla version of AutoCAD. And it's strange. They did show it with ADT for a while, but now they've hidden it again. Which is kind of makes sense because you don't need to know what AutoCAD thinks the units are as long as you know, and you just scale things accordingly. Okay, so there we are, 2240, which seems like perfect size for that sort of chair. So I want to go to the 3D view, can't see it, and that's typical, so we can right click, zoom to fit, and then it should come up. So I'm going to go to realistic just so that I can see the material now as I make the changes. Okay, so to do that, you can go to the Manage tab and then Object Styles. Now you've got to do this before you load it into the project. Yeah. So Manage Object Styles and then Imported Objects is where you find the layers. So that's why I did the setup with the layers, so that you can make the changes here. Otherwise, there's a backdoor way, but this is better. Yeah, any material you can do in Revit, you can put on here. So I've been showing you that you can duplicate existing materials, but I probably haven't spent enough time showing you how to get things from the Revit material library. I know I've shown you the appearance library, but yeah, if you've got to go, no, so over here you've got the Show Hide Library panel button. So just make sure you know about that one. And so I know a lot of people, I normally show that right at the beginning, but then don't do it much after that. Yeah, sure. Yep.
I want to cover it in Knoll Velvet, and they have a library of their fabric that you can upload to Revit.
Yeah, but what format's the library?
I don't know.
Well, I'll have a look at theirs afterwards. So yeah, so they'll be a bit different. So okay, so here this button is the Autodesk materials, and when you click on Home there, you've got these different folders. So they're just two different material libraries. And these aren't just appearance libraries, these are complete materials. So it's really good when you're working in a family file, because in a family file you won't have many materials to choose from. Yeah, so that just saves you a bit of time rather than duplicating and doing it all from scratch. You can just get, say, let's go down to metal, and then it's still not very big, but it's a good starting point. And so here we go, we've got stainless steel. So I'm going to double click, and now that's in my family file. Yes, sir. Yeah. Often, well, it's the starting point. You can still then get it if you go to appearance. Now I can change that, but it's really getting that basic setup. So I've got the graphics panel done, and then the appearance and all this other stuff that I really don't care that much about, but it's done. And then appearance there, I can, if I want to, go to replace and go into the appearance library and choose something else, so I can make it from scratch, whatever. It's easiest. So it just saves a bit of time. So I'm going to click OK there. So that's my legs done, and then the seat, I'll go and do the same thing. So home, Autodesk materials, and fabric, and I'm sick of beige, but I'll just do it. Linen beige, and appearance, that will do. So probably doesn't suit this chair. No, let's go for that one. Well, okay, so what I do is put this on graphics and then right click and go to replace. So you've got a few here, but then if you go to replace here, then in the appearance library you've got a lot more options for rendering. So that's the way to change to more exciting fabric. Yeah, oh, no, not to the appearance line. No, this is locked. Yeah, so you can't. That's the Autodesk library. So yeah, I'm a bit worried about stripes on this one, so I might go for pebbled pink. No, that might do. Yeah, it's leather. Let's see. Yeah. There we are. No, it's not even. No, it's not going to work. So a patterned material on this is probably not a great idea, but I'm sure you get the idea. It's really easy to change. Yeah, we'll see. It's stretching out over this area, so it's okay there, but then no good there, and then good again at the top, which is actually exactly what happened with the one I bought. Oh, same thing. It would stretch. No, that's a standard library. It changes with the new release of the software, but that's it. So I don't need to keep selecting that, or even, sorry, I don't have to select it at all, but I don't have to keep going back to object styles. I can just go to materials and just edit the material from there. So I'm just going to go for, let's try tan. Bet that's another leather. It is, but that'll do. Oops. Yeah, I'll live with that. Okay, so I'm going to save that file, load into project, and just show you what happens there. So because I switched plans, I need to just go back to component to bring it up again. Now that looks a bit too big. Maybe it was the right size. Maybe it was centimetres. That's a bit odd. Does that look too big to you? Looks too big to me. Yeah, 2 metres. Yeah, it's just that 900 mil is only this big. Yeah, so let's go back and well, I'll try measuring here. It's good actually if it's not the right size. It's a good thing. So that's 3.6. That's a bit big. So. Well, what I'm going to do is check the what I should have done, the front view. So here we can measure the seat height, and then we'll know straight away what it should be. Yeah, it's too big. Okay, so that's 975. That's too high for this sort of sofa. Way too high. Up here, so it's like a giant. Yeah, it's like a Shrek size. So. Oh yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, but it's a bit big for the space. So that's okay, because I can show you how to resize it. It's so easy. Delete, and it's pinned, so that's okay. Just unpin it, delete, and then insert, import CAD again, and all I need to do then is change the import units to centimetres, now that we know that's what they are. Open, there it is. Notice the material's done. Okay, because I assigned the material to the layer, and the layers are still there. The layers are part of this file. Now and they don't come in, or they're not changed again when I import the file. So re-import the file. So there you can see they're still set to the material. So I'm just going to save the file.
What if, for example, it imported and it was upside down?
They're difficult to change. You can try rotating them and manipulating them in Revit, but it's tricky. So it's often easier to fix it in AutoCAD first.
And what's like if there's nothing in
Oh, who knows? The person who's made it probably just hasn't done it properly. Yeah. So there, 383, which is pretty spot on for. Yeah, so it's just not a very long lounge. It's like a 2-seater. So that's okay. So I'll just save that again, load into project, and now overwrite the existing version, and then click on component to place it. And sorry, that's my concreter, so I need to take that call. But there we are, so you can see there the 3D view with nothing showing because I placed it on ground floor. So we'll do that again. So component, and I'll just go back now. There we are. So you can see that pretty clearly now. It's got the edges showing. So if you want to turn those off, in a perspective view, you can go to graphic display options and then just clear the show edges option, which is, yeah, so what's going on there? So that shouldn't be. Oh, it's on hidden line, that's why. So shaded, and then we can turn show edges off. There we are. And sorry, I'll go to realistic, and then we'll just turn the shadows off so you can see there without the edges that the material should come up pretty well. Yeah, it is, but it shouldn't really matter for this because we've made the family. It's only those families that are made by other people. You've got to check that. So, but yeah, normally set it to fine. That's a good option. So there we are. So that's going to work for any 3D format really. Even SketchUp files. If you're having trouble with SketchUp files, bring them into AutoCAD first, and just do the same thing.